The Rise of Kyoshi might be a prequel, but it's packed with clever nods to Avatar The Last Airbender. Some subtle, some game-changing, from familiar names of philosophies to the origins of iconic traditions, this novel doesn't just expand the world, it connects it. In this video, we're breaking down 8 callbacks that fans from the original series won't want to miss. Whether you're a casual viewer or really into the Avatar lore, welcome back to the Casual TV channel, and let's jump right into the video. Callback number 1 is Neutral Jing. One of the first big callbacks in the Rise of Kyoshi is Neutral Jing, and if you watch Avatar The Last Airbender, you probably remember this from Aang and King Bumi. In the Kyoshi novel, Neutral Jing actually comes up a lot. On page 15, Kyoshi is in what's basically a hostage situation, and the book says silence was the key to making it through the other side, waiting with a complete and total passivity, Neutral Jing. Then just a few pages later, it's brought back up again, this time in a more sarcastic tone. And you don't dare try and claim you were doing Neutral Jing, or whatever earthbending hooey. When Genzu is talking to Heiran, Ranji's mom, the book points out that firebenders usually think in terms of positive Jing, always staying aggressive. It's really cool nod to the show, and it directly ties back to the moment where Bumi explains Neutral Jing to Aang, who has never heard of it.
And Neutral Jing, when you do nothing.
There are 3 Jings?
Callback number 2, Hot Squats. Hot squats are a common Fire Nation exercise that is used for discipline and strength. In the Rise of Kyoshi, we see Yoon training with this type of workout. On page 26, Yoon says, "I finished my hot squat sets early. 500 reps, perfect form the whole way." This is a callback to how Zuko was training Aang in the same way. Zuko gave Aang homework that every time he heard a badger frog croak, he had to do his hot squats.
1 hot squat, 2 hot squat, 3 hot squat, 4.
Callback number 3 is Lake Laogai. Although it's only a quick mention on page 110 when Kyoshi is talking to Yoon, "What happened to Tajaka?" Kyoshi asked. "She's in the brig on an Earth Kingdom caravan headed for the capital, or she'll be taken to the prisons at Lake Laogai." Obviously calling back to the Earth Kingdom brainwashing site in Book 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender, where Jet might have died. They were really unclear about that. Appa was chained up, and we got that famous speech from Iroh to Zuko. Acknowledging the existence of Lake Laogai at this point in the world is interesting and raises more questions in itself. Callback number 4, the Bowl of Jook. In Avatar The Last Airbender, Zuko goes through the crazy transformation after letting Appa go free at Lake Laogai, and Iroh decides to make some jook. In all honesty, it did not look very good, but Zuko actually eats some of it. This same meal was mentioned in the Rise of Kyoshi novel when on page 114 it says, "On days when Kyoshi had time to eat breakfast, she usually helped herself to a bowl of jook from the communal pot bubbling away in the kitchen." Seems like jook is a go-to breakfast in the Avatar manner, a warm start to the day, which probably explains why Iroh makes it for Zuko too. It's a small but cozy detail that connects both timelines in a surprisingly tasty way. Callback number 5 is the Misty Palms Oasis. In the Rise of Kyoshi, the Misty Palms Oasis was not as run down as we see in Avatar The Last Airbender. The town in correspondence with the novel is where Kyoshi's parents picked up Lek, a member of the Flying Opera Company, as he lived in a town near that area. On page 213, Karima says, "We picked him up in a town near the Misty Palms Oasis." The Oasis is a well-known hub that most people probably hit when passing through the deserts in the Earth Kingdom. Callback number 6 is Zuko. This callback to the original show is kind of throwing a shot at Zuko in a similar way that we see in the Ember Islands player episode. On page 214, Karima says, "The last time I listened to a firebender talk about honor, my ears nearly rotted off my skull." This is the running joke that Zuko talks about his honor a lot throughout the course of Avatar The Last Airbender, which his main drive was to restore it in the first place. Another little fun fact is that Zuko says honor 16 times throughout the entirety of the show. Callback number 7 is the extension of your arm. This is a callback to the Sokka's Master episode and just battle philosophy in general. When Wong is teaching Kyoshi how to use her fans, he becomes frustrated and yells at Kyoshi saying, "The fan is not a weapon, it's an extension of your arm." When Sokka is training with Master Piandao, he stresses to Sokka how the sword is more of an extension of his arm and not moving by itself.
That your weapon is an extension of yourself.
Both Sokka and Kyoshi heeded this advice, and they became skilled specialists with their items. The final callback number 8, is the timing incense. In the Kyoshi novel before the big siege of the governor's mansion, they meet with the Dao Fei criminal leader, and he gives them a 1-hour head start on the raid. He grabs the timing incense and cuts them in half. On page 340 it says, Mach reached into his desk and pulled out 2 sticks of timing incense. Cut them the same length before handing them to Ranji. Get your positions. We attack in 1 hour. In the Cave of Two Lovers episode, the travelers bring the timing incense into the cave and light them all at the same time.
Chong, how long do those torches last?
About 2 hours each.
There are even the same amount of time in the Kyoshi novel as they are in the episode. This shows that this type of timing device is very common in the Avatar The Last Airbender universe. And that wraps up 8 awesome callbacks from the Rise of Kyoshi to Avatar The Last Airbender. It's so cool to see how these little details connect to stories across generations of avatars. From training techniques to iconic locations and even small meals like jook. Which callback was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future Avatar vids. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.